Hey guys, it's Caleb from Rokblokz. Today in the shop we've got this brand new 2024 Tacoma. We've got a new oversized tire mud flap kit for you, so let's go ahead and show you how to install it. Here we have the tools laid out that you'll need for install. Today we'll be using an 1/8 inch Allen key, a 10mm socket, a Phillips head screwdriver, and a level. Here we have the front laid out. What you'll get in your kit is your flap for that corner, and then you'll also get your upper bracket, your middle bracket, and your lower bracket. And then you'll also get the hardware. We'll go ahead and put a breakdown of that hardware on the screen right now. Before we head to the vehicle, we're going to go ahead and prep the flap right here on the bench just to get it set up. To do so, we're going to take our flange nuts and we're going to press them into the hex-shaped holes from the same side as the logo. If you get them aligned, they should press in fairly easy, but if you need to, you can use a rubber mallet to kind of lightly tap them, but you want to make sure that they're fully aligned first. Now, with those in place, we're going to flip our flap over, and we're going to align our brackets. So we're going to start with our upper bracket here. We're going to orient it so that the arm comes out towards the top. And we're going to take our 1/4 inch number 10 screws and we're going to get those started into our flange nuts. We'll just get those hand tight so that way the bracket still has some wiggle room. Now next we're going to take our mid bracket. This one is going to be the same left and right, and so it will orient exactly the same. We just want to make sure that these upper two brackets from the smooth side step up and over and don't have them going the opposite way. So we're just securing this by hand with our 1/4 inch number 10 screws. There we go. And now our last bracket is our L bracket, and this one is actually going to go the opposite way. So we're going to go ahead, lift the flap just a little bit so that the bracket can sit that way. We're going to take the long arm, and that's going to attach to the flap like so. And now with your flap fully assembled, we're ready to take this to the vehicle and begin installing. Here we are at the front of the vehicle. We're going to begin by removing the factory mud flap, and the 3 screws holding it on will be this one, and one on the back side. With those removed, we're going to set the mud flap to the side. Those are just a 10mm socket to remove those, and then we're also going to remove these upper 2 screws here. I'm just going to set those to the side as well. Now we're going to take our prepared mud flap. We're going to grab our 3/4 inch screw, the button head screw, and we're going to put that through our bottom bracket right here. And that is going to correspond with the hole on the bottom. Just going to align that and get that started. Going into the factory insert. Now we're going to take 2 of our 1 inch flathead screws with dress washers. We're going to go ahead and secure our mid bracket. Take that and we're going to align our bracket with our mount holes right here in the body. Just leave those slightly loose for now. Next, we're going to prep our next 2 1 inch screws with dress washers. And then we'll also grab our 5mm spacers. And so the spacers are going to go just behind the bracket into the pockets of the flare. If you want to make your brackets sit a little more flush, you can just put just a slight little bend in it right along here. And that will help pull it tighter and follow the curve of the fender. Putting our spacer back in there. Go ahead and get that. Now we should have it all fully mounted, but still slightly loose. Now we can go ahead and adjust our brackets and our flap and get it just to where we want. I'm going to set our brackets first, do our final adjustment with the flaps. Now we can adjust our flap in the final small movements. We'll check along the bottom with the level. Everything looks good. Try and minimize the gap along the fender's edge. There will be just a slight gap so that it doesn't rub on your paint or your fender. Those all snug down, and that's how you complete the front. You can repeat these same steps on the other side. Now let's go ahead and jump to the rear. Here we have the rear laid out. What you'll get in your kit is your rear flap for that corner and your rear spacer for that corner. Then you'll also get the hardware. We'll go ahead and put a breakdown of that hardware on the screen right now. Now, let's go ahead and we're going to do a little bit of preparation before we take the flap to the car. To do so, we're going to prep our spacer with the flange nuts, and we're just going to press them in from the same side as the etching. And now we'll take our spacer and we're going to go ahead, we're going to flip our flap on top of it, and then we're going to align the holes with the flange nuts to the small holes in the flap. And all the other holes should align as well. With those aligned, now we'll take our number 10 half-inch screws and we're going to secure the spacer to the flap. Now we'll take our 1/8 inch Allen. We're just going to get those snug tight. Now, with your spacer mounted to your flap, you're good to take your flap to the vehicle and begin installing. Here we are at the rear of the vehicle. We're going to begin by removing the lower mud flap. To do so, it'll be 4 screws, one located inside the wheel well, 2 along the fender's edge, and 1 on the back side. Those will all just be a 10mm socket to remove. We've already loosened ours, so we'll just go ahead and get them out of the way. We'll set that to the side. And then next will just be this last one right here in the fender. We'll go ahead and set that to the side as well. Now we're going to grab our prepared mud flap and one of our 1 1/4 screws with a 1 1/4 washer. We're going to go ahead and we're going to start with that inside right here. Get that lined up. And then these larger holes will allow the little bumps in your fender liner to sit inside them. And then all the screws on the back here are the same length, so we're just going to go ahead and continue along. Get this mounted with 2, and we can let it go for a second. We'll grab our 3rd screw. I'm just going to start with these bottom ones right here for now. Once we get those all started, we can grab our last screw and our 5mm spacer. And that 5mm spacer is just going to go on the back side of the flap, between the flap and the liner, or between the flap and the fender. With those all in place, we can just go ahead and lightly secure them all. With those lightly secured, we can go ahead and make small adjustments to our flap, checking along the bottom with a level. Once we've got it into the position we want, we'll go ahead and fully secure all the screws. With those fully tightened down, that's how you complete the rear. You can repeat these same steps on the other side. Thanks for watching.